we're compelled to once again express our disappointment owing to the fact that the majority of Security Council members are continuing to indulge the attempts of some states to cast doubt on objective procedural reality. They are the ones who bear responsibility for all of the negative ramifications of the decision taken to hold a meeting on a non-existent agenda item, in addition to all of the legal free-for-all instigated at the Security Council in connection with the Iranian nuclear program narrative. We're grateful to colleagues who demonstrated a principled and objective position and who did not support the holding of this meeting. Mr. President, the position of the Russian Federation regarding the supposed reinstatement of anti-Iranian Security Council resolutions is well known to all. We've set out our position on many occasions at official UN meetings, at dozens of such meetings, in fact. The last such meeting being the Security Council briefing on the work of the so-called 1737 Committee, which took place about a month ago. Hence, we will not delve into the details of the reasons why the UK, France, and Germany had no right to trigger the snapback. We won't delve into those details. All interested parties can refer to our many statements, as well as to the letters disseminated at the Council by Russia, China, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Instead, we'd like to draw your attention to the fact that even Western colleagues, who, without a doubt, should have a good grasp of Security Council procedures, understand how baseless their assertions are. Their assertions to the effect that Resolution 2231 remains valid and that its full mandate and reporting cycle is being maintained. This was aptly demonstrated by the fact that the instigators of today's meeting, by how selectively they interpreted the President's note S/2016/44 and the rationale for holding the meeting. We see this as further confirmation that Resolution 2231 is no longer in force, and of the fact that certain elements stemming from the resolution's mandate are simply being used by some Western countries, not because this is what procedure calls for, but rather because it is in keeping with their position on Iran. However, if the politically motivated actions of Western states and delegations loyal thereto come as no surprise, the fact that the leadership of the UN Secretariat has joined their ranks is categorically unacceptable. The SG's report is not just a document drafted by Mr. Antonio Guterres, one for which he bears personal responsibility. In fact, the publication of this report is an example of the flagrant violation by the SG of his mandate and Security Council decisions, which were set forth in Resolution 2231. We won't delve into the contents of the report, and there's not much to delve into. What we will note is that the continued publication of such reports, in addition to other illegal steps, unauthorized steps taken by the Secretariat, for instance, notifying member states about the re-entry into force of anti-Iranian Security Council resolutions, the reinstatement of the 1737 Committee website and its sanctions list, as well as attempts to establish the composition of its group of experts, well, they are nothing but a violation of Rule 100, Article 100 of the UN Charter. We reject such arbitrary actions taken by the Secretariat. We call for the leadership to fix these immediately. President, turning to the Iranian nuclear program as a whole, we cannot but draw your attention to the cynical attempts by Western states to lay their own fault at somebody else's door. It's an open secret that the JCPOA implementation crisis was prompted by the unilateral withdrawal of the US from that agreement back in 2018. Thus, it's very strange to hear from the US delegation these very strong pronouncements supporting Security Council Resolution 2231. What happened next? The crisis was exacerbated as the European members to the nuclear deal were not able to uphold their commitments. As a result, the UK, France, Germany, and their cheerleaders not only decided to further escalate the situation by seeking the snapback being triggered, but in practice they supported the US and Israeli strikes on Iranian territory, including on peaceful atom infrastructure, which is under IAEA safeguards. And from these delegations, we continue to hear concoctions about a supposed threat emanating from the Iranian nuclear program. And it must be said that they're based entirely on their fabrications. After all, the Iranian leadership has confirmed and continues to confirm the fact that it has no plans to acquire a nuclear weapon. And the IAEA, not once, I underscore this, not once did the IAEA verify the transfer of nuclear materials to military uses in Iran. Every time we see the EU and the US colleagues demanding for Iran to engage in serious talks, well, they're saying this although Iran was attacked twice at the height of such diplomatic efforts, and despite this, Iran actually continued its contacts with the US. Moreover, we regularly hear at Security Council meetings absurd allegations being leveled at Iran, allegations that on its territory, the IAEA has not been undertaking its verification activities for a year now. And yet the delegations leveling these obligations can't even name what actually happened, what transpired in June of 2025, what made the work of IAEA inspectors impossible. It was the first series of US and Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. We get the impression that some Security Council members, ignoring the root causes of the current escalation in the Middle East, are beginning to believe their own alternative reality, the one they crafted. They don't want to accept what is patently obvious. They are refusing to call a spade a spade. Mr. President, the Russian Federation categorically rejects attempts to continue to escalate tensions without any grounds for doing so surrounding the Iranian issue. We also reject attempts to use the Security Council for political score settling with Iran. These actions undertaken by Western countries first create a threat to the very tense situation in the region, especially in light of the latest events, and second, further exacerbate the procedural crisis at the Security Council, which is having a negative impact on the Council's work across various spheres, in first and foremost as regards subsidiary bodies. Currently, the Security Council should have entirely different issues on its agenda. We bear responsibility for creating enabling conditions for de-escalation and ongoing diplomatic efforts, kick-started with the assistance of Pakistan and other states. They are what instills hope of resolving any contradictions and misunderstandings using peaceful means. We urge Western colleagues to focus on this kind of work rather on their phantom pains regarding UN Security Council Resolution 2231. I thank you.